Hello. As you can hear, the old song, Whenever I Want You, All I Have to Do Is Dream. It took me back a few decades and gave me an idea for this KVEC grant title. So, this year's KVEC grant from myself and Knott County Central is called Whenever I Want You, All I Have to Do Is Stream. And it is an innovative intervention during a pandemic attempt. And we've had to do all of these. We've had to be innovative. We've had to do interventions from top to bottom. And it's all been during a pandemic. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself, my school, and then I'll dive into the presentation of my grant. My name is Ms. Cathy Conley, and I am an English Arts and Humanities teacher at Knott County Central High School. My principal is Mr. Bobby Pollard. Our superintendent is Ms. Kimberly King, and my assistant principal is Mr. Jamie Couch. And so when I designed this problem of practice, I came up with 5 questions that I thought would support the proposal and intervention of this grant. And one of them is, how can educators in Eastern Kentucky find ways to reach all students during a worldwide pandemic? And I know that it's hard all over the state of Kentucky, but since I live in Eastern Kentucky and I'm focused here, I just wanted to focus us in the Eastern Kentucky area. How can East Kentucky educators see students on a regular basis while being safe at work or school? I also want to address this and find a way that we could see our students while we were teaching them, whether they were in front of us or attending virtually. The next one, how can distance learning become more flexible yet effective during this year in Eastern Kentucky? This remains to be seen, but we've already learned that we have to be extremely flexible and we have to participate in distance learning from morning until night sometimes. And we need to be able to do that with the highest level of technology that's available. And so that's how this grant got born. How can education become equalized in the Appalachian region during this pandemic? I'm talking about mainly equalizing educational opportunities within our school community. We have a pretty good technology base here in Knott County. It actually is very good, and the students are getting an ability to tune into classes on live meets, but not all of them are able to participate fully. So I hope this materials in this grant will help them do that. And how can distance learning be fun, productive, and positive for both teachers and students? This is something that I'm struggling with and I'm wanting to do better. I want to be able to make distance learning fun, productive, and positive for myself and students, and actually our whole English department. It's hard. It's hard to get students tuned in and turned on to what you're doing and keep it fun and keep it, engaging when sometimes the teacher doesn't even feel like being in front of the camera. So hopefully this new technology will inspire more of us to become more active. And so when I started this project, I decided to do a little research and I went online and saw several articles, but one caught my eye, and it was from a 2020 report, and it was from educationworld.com. There was a quote, and I really loved this quote, but it made me stop and say, that's the reason we need this grant. This is the reason we need to be able to stream and dream. So the quote says, teachers and school administrators today have powerful technology at their fingertips, and using well-known platforms, they can stream lessons and events in their schools, allowing a wider audience to observe and even participate. And that is very, very true, but not always the case in rural underfunded schools. And, every school has its barriers and its limitations. And I'm so glad KVEC has given us the opportunity to get some technology this year, especially because most of our schools are underfunded. But imagine if Eastern Kentucky students were given the same materials and opportunities with which to learn. Just imagine what could happen. Hence the name, all you got to do, whenever I want you, all I got to do is stream and dream. I requested just two materials, but multiples of the two. I requested Logitech cameras that follow the person who is addressing the class, the speaker, and they come with a tripod, and they have these 3D I'm sorry, HD speakers on the side, so it'll pick up very well with sounds that are going on. And then I also asked for these Amazon third generation speakers to give our students the best quality while they're in class and as well as streaming lessons. So I asked for six of these and six of these because we have six English classrooms that serve our entire school. And I wanted each teacher in the English department to be able to have access to the same mode of delivery and instruction. And I think it will impact our students. My visualization is just one question. Will students be able to have a stronger grasp on interdisciplinary learning through the use of technology? How will this affect them in their other classes as well as English class? And every student at Knott County Central has to have an English class. So this is kind of like their home base. And hopefully students might be able to use this technology for their own projects as well. On days when we are not doing live meets, they may be able to have access to other classes and also record their own demonstrations and such. Okay, and active participation. So how will the use of one-to-one technology enhance learning? And our district is getting Chromebooks for every student. They should be here just any day. And they're all going to have the same type of technology. So I want to know, like, how's that going to enhance one-to-one learning? To what degree will student participation be positively affected? I'm already seeing that it is becoming a lot more like involvement. There's a lot more involvement from students just simply because we're doing almost everything online. And then what specific interpersonal skills will be developed to a higher degree? This is probably my favorite because I feel like in this fast-paced and information-loaded world, we have to be able to help students learn to communicate in lots of formats, whether it be chat room, podcast, video, live stream, or any other mode that's out there. They're going to have to be able to adapt to it quickly. And I think the teachers are learning as much as the kids through this process. Here's some more things that I thought about for our school. How will online experiences help students to understand and remember what they learn? A lot of students need to review, and review lessons. And so they can rewatch live meets that we have. They will be able to slow it down, back it up, start it again, whatever they need to do to make sure that they fully understand the material. And they've never had that opportunity before because 7 months ago, we told kids, put your phone away, don't record this lesson. We don't want to see anything recorded. And it was actually a school policy that they couldn't record people during class. And so now it's just we flipped the script and we totally have everything we didn't allow before. And we're having to just jump in it and use everything that we can. What advantages can technology bring to the secondary classroom setting during virtual, blended, or other teaching learning formats? I'm not familiar with how this works, and I would not want to know how this might work with kindergarten or the primary or even middle school. But with high school, I really see that it can pace the lessons to be much quicker and the information can get to them faster and they can get information back to me quicker. How will students perform on assessments after having more online teaching and learning than ever before? This is something I cannot wait to see. I'm excited about taking the scores from last year and even the year before and seeing what they are going to be like compared to what scores we have this year. I do not know how the assessments will be done from a state or a national level, whether they will be done online or in person, like we have some students come in person. I don't know, but I'm anxious to see and how this technology will help us compete in that. Okay. Hopefully, this project will help remove barriers, especially for those non English speaking students at Knott County Central. And also, in any situation that might prevent them from performing before this technology, perhaps this will put them up to where they have a confidence level and the access to do it. Okay. And this is my favorite, probably favorite slide, because I didn't realize when I started this grant process that it would help me so much initially to talk about feedback. But this project is already, it's already started and I don't even have the materials yet, but the idea that it's going to work with this has already started. Um, I'm making these two claims and I really am seeing it already. Having access to real-time online instruction will allow students who are both in class and virtual to receive feedback at the same time. And I'm finding that it's making my life easier, faster, and more enlightened to be able to give instant feedback as opposed to stacks of paper this high that it would take me a longer time to go through and to physically pass out to students. I'm finding this digital feedback much more conducive to teaching and learning for me. And then this will help students and teachers to guide their daily experiences by sharing immediate feedback for all stakeholders. And the word that I put on this slide that I feel is the most important is daily, because I have changed my teaching daily throughout this pandemic. I have changed it hourly sometimes, and sometimes minute by minute. So this is, I know it's going to do this. I know that the materials I'm getting from the grant will help both of these things happen. And here's how I'm going to measure the outcome. I'm going to get data from 2019-2020 school year in the areas of reading and writing. And I'm going to use this baseline data to measure growth for online virtual assessments from 2020-2021. So I'm basically taking what they did last year, even the incoming ninth grade. They did the eighth grade baseline testing last year. I will take that data and incorporate it with this year's data to see how far they've grown in just assessment only. And then this is my favorite part as well. I'm going to explore patterns of growth and assess areas of need in digital literacy and communication. So I'm going to see like if there's a certain grade level or a certain special population that seems to advance quicker with this online learning, with this virtual way that we're doing things. And also find out our needs, like what we need to make the digital world even better and even faster for students here in Knott County. And so the overall outcome for success, like I stated earlier, my district is getting every student a personal laptop device. It's actually a Chromebook, and they're going to be able to complete virtual and in-class assignments with this. So they'll be able to bring them to class, and we'll be able to coordinate at-home learning with in-class learning like never, ever before. An overall arching goal for this project is for students to improve communication skills, exhibit positive engagement in the virtual classroom, and become online leaders of learning in our school and community. And I think those three things, if they can do that, they're most certainly 21st century learners, and they will be teachers to others. But we may or may not want to face it, but I'm using a term that I once heard, that we are now teaching screenagers, and they've never been in front of any other learning device that other than a screen. A screen has always provided them the baseline for their learning. So with this better technology and faster communication, I'm hoping that students in Knott County can lead our school and also our whole community, because this pandemic, as you know, has changed the world, and we need to change with it, and we're ready to change in Knott County. And so this is the last slide. And throughout this process, I've kept this in mind, and it's really hard for me because I like to see students in person, but I felt like in order to teach students, we must reach them. We must reach in order to teach. So hopefully this will be a positive experience for students and teachers, and it can carry over into next year and the following years, and we can just get better and better at having positive experiences with digital and in-person class simultaneous learning. And so thank you, KBEC, for sponsoring our grant and giving us a chance to dream and stream in Knott County.